Motherfucker's got chandeliers and shit in his new house.
Bro, the lady left me this stuff. I don't even know how to set anything up.
That's so sick. It looks like you got some vaulted ceilings. I love
dude,
that.
It's a dope spot. I'm very, very lucky.
You got a chair rail along the wall?
I don't even know what it is, but I guess I got it.
That's high living, man. That's so your chairs don't scuff up the wall. I'm assuming that's a dining room.
Dude, I don't know what's going on.
It's like a little piece of molding that goes down around like 4 feet up, and it's so like chairs don't scuff the wall when you're dining.
Hilarious.
I never knew that.
I don't know how to do it. My mom's like, you have to put paper inside your drawers. I'm like in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think that's like some old school shit, so you don't ruin the bottom of your drawers. But I mean, I respect it.
Yeah, because I started to put stuff in it. She's like, "What are you doing? You got to put stuff in there." And I'm like, I don't know what I've lived like an animal for my whole life. I don't know.
Yeah. They sell some stuff that I put in one of my drawers. The one with the silverware tray in it. It's like a grippy pad.
Like a mesh, not mesh.
Yeah. It's like a.
one of the places I moved into in LA just had that.
Yeah, I use that so the silverware container thing doesn't slide all around. But I mean, other than that, I mean, fuck it, man. It's the bottom of a drawer.
Yeah, who cares? Dude, let me find my nicotine gum. Hold on, I just had it.
Hey, I think our question was answered. Is Steve Simeone fucking jacked?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say still dipping, and I'm like, no, I gave up Skull years ago. But now, Uncle Joey got me addicted to nicotine gum.
Oh, that's it. I mean, it can't be any worse. Yeah. What'd you dip? What'd you dip Skull? Was it like mint?
Yeah, it was mint, dude. Yeah.
See, out of I know somebody who dips like the tropical one, like the citrus.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made it.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I thought all dip was kind of like a wintergreen. Like when I think dip, I have a very specific smell in my head.
Yeah, they have like that Kodiak wintergreen, disgusting brother smell. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was like 11, I swallowed it like probably half a can that my friend's dad had sitting in his house, and I didn't know how to do it, but I was like, I'm just gonna steal his fucking dip, and I didn't know what dipping was, so I just grabbed half of it and swallowed it and threw up all over my friend's bedroom.
That's a blessing, because you probably never did it again, right?
No, never.
Yeah. I remember the toughest kid ever. My buddy Glenn Carroll was the toughest dude ever, and in 7th grade, he was already dipping, and he was playing baseball, and he slid in the second and swallowed it, and put another one in. He was at 12. Jesus. He was a man. Like before,
that guy's in prison.
Dude, before the UFC, he had a homemade tattoo and the sweetest, nicest guy ever. But like in the mid 90s, before UFC was even a thing, he was like 190 pounds, knocking out heavyweights in tough man competitions and bars.
Oh my
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was like legit and the best dude ever. I'm just saying it because I hope he sees this somehow. And
like what's he up to now? Like people like that you grew up with that are legendary like that, like I always wonder what they're up to.
Glenn Carroll changed his name to Stipe Miocic, moved to Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. If you told me that, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like I remember it was like prison when Glenn came to our school. I think it was 4th grade. The biggest kid in our school was my buddy George Vates, but he was a nice kid. But it was like prison because everybody was saying how tough Glenn was. And out at recess, Glenn just locked in on George Vates like in a prison movie. And they squared off and Glenn knew how to box in 4th grade and started to rifle him in the belly. He was hitting him with body shots and George was a big kid and he just went, no more, like that. And that was it. He tapped out.
It's a scene from a fucking movie.
God, dude. That's how you just establish alpha.
Yeah, I'm definitely not that.
Yeah.
I don't have that in me.
All right, y'all ready to start?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Welcome to the Rushmore Podcast. My name's Pepper.
My name's Thomas.
It's the podcast where we take our Mount Rushmore of any given topic, and if you listen to the podcast for at least 35 minutes, we'll figure out what the fuck we do with it. And this week, we are joined by the nicest man in comedy, possibly the nicest man on the planet, Steve Simeone.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me. And I'm not that nice. I'm just, I don't know.
Steve, if you are not that nice, then it would be the biggest trick that anybody's ever played on me. I've listened to
You ever hear that rumor that Mr. Rogers was sleeved up in tattoos and that's why he wore a sweater because he was a sniper, special ops sniper in Vietnam?
Yeah.
I hope that's true.
I'm pretty sure.
It's not real, but I totally believed it until somebody shattered my dreams.
That's like the gerbil in the ass thing.
I heard that was real.
Yeah, that was definitely real.
Okay.
The one with Richard Gere?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to picture Tom Hanks getting ready to play Mr. Rogers and like method acting. He's like sniping and shit, doing a bunch of tactical training.
Saving Private Ryan.
He's like Kreese from Cobra Kai. I always wanted Mr. Rogers to have that side to him.
Yeah, and we were talking before we started because Thomas posted that incredible headshot of yours.
Tremendous.
Yeah, and I was like, God, he's got a fucking just a meaty head. He's got to be sneaky jacked. Like you got a fucking like a power lifter head, man.
Your delts look good in that shirt.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to, like, back in the day when I was younger, before I got injured all the time, I used to lift weights. Like, it's still one of my favorite places on earth. There's a gym in Glen Olden, Pennsylvania called the Iron Sport Gym.
Yeah.
And my buddy Big Steve owns it. And like in the 90s, he competed in the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And there were just so many characters in there, like legit freaks of nature, like guys that never did steroids but could bench press. Just like walk off the street, gorilla strong, 500-pound bench press with
Oh
you.
my God.
That's insane.
But they were the nicest guys ever. They were so nice.
Yeah, most people that like are true fucking alphas and can beat the shit out of everybody, they don't have anything to prove, so they are very nice.
Yeah, like I got a Christmas gift, not a Christmas, well, it was a gift, but I got a Christmas message from my old jiu-jitsu coach in LA.
Yeah.
And dude, he is an assassin. Like, he's a high-level black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And he's so good at that you forget that he's also enormous.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those dudes like Ric Flair. Like, Ric Flair's wrist is just 4 times as wide as a normal dude's
Born
wrist.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. And Coach Chris is like that. Like, you forget because he's so jacked. You're like, this dude's like 6'1" on top of it.
Yeah.
But he sent me the nicest video of him and his little guy who's like 4. And they were listening to my comedy album on Christmas in the car.
Oh, it's so
that's awesome.
incredible.
Yeah, and I was like, dude.
Yeah, I was
And
going to bring
he
up
told
that. What's that?
He was like, you don't have to worry. He's like, once you know you can beat everybody up, what do you have to prove? And I'm like, I'm never going to have that feeling ever.
That's why the people you really got to watch out for is pussies. Like dudes who
They're
feel like they
dangerous.
have to prove themselves. Those are the fucking wild cards you got to watch out for.
Yeah, they're usually the guys in bars. In my life experience, at least, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was always like, if the guys are starting fights, they're not the scariest guy in the room, for sure.
No, I used to kind of hang out with a couple of motorcycle gangs, and you would never have to worry about like the guys in the motorcycle gangs. It would always be like the people that were just on the outside, like the friends of the motorcycle gangs, because those guys would be the ones that was like, oh yeah, well my friends could come over here and whoop your ass.
Gotcha.
And they would be the ones that started shit like across the board. Like the dudes in motorcycle gangs, they fucking know. Like half of them had fucking guns in the bar. Like they're not being fucked with. It's
right.
the loudmouth fucking perimeter guys that you got to watch out for.
I'm so grateful that I'm so old right now that like I just don't go to bars. I don't do any, you know what I mean? Like my life is ice cream and hanging out with buddies. And like I think if anybody hit me at this point in my life, they'd be like, "You hit Steve." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
crime against humanity.
100%. I would fly to wherever the fuck they were and give them a piece of my mind.
Now, since you have such like a reputation of being such a nice guy, and you come off,
by the way, Thomas,
I'm sure it does. But do you ever get to like sarcastically be really nice and kind of condescending to somebody, but you get away with it because they'd never expect it from you?
No. But I have had people think that was the case.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But I also get mad. Like I was talking to my buddy David Deary, like I guess it was before Christmas, so maybe it was a month ago. And we were talking about Philly sports, and I just went off. I was so pissed about the Eagles. Yeah. I was so pissed about the Sixers and the Flyers breaking my heart that he was dying laughing. And he goes, I think I'm the only one that's seen your angry side, because he also gave me bad advice in Dodger Stadium parking in leaving Dodger Stadium once.
Yeah.
Baseball game. And like, he wasn't driving at the time. I'm like, no, dude, we have to go this way. He's like, no, trust me. Let's make a left. So I do like a move where I'm cutting through traffic to make a left, and it was a dead end. And I livid, like TNT livid. And he just started dying laughing. He was like, well, it's nice to know that you're normal. Yeah. And I'm like, totally normal. I get mad all the time. I got mad at my brother a week ago. I got mad at my parents. I'm normal.
How did you feel about the fucking heinous act that the Eagles pulled the other night?
I'm going to be honest with you. This is like real. I could tell week 1, they were such a bad team.
Yeah.
That I went, okay, I emotionally detached. I watched week 2 and I haven't seen a game since.
Well, I don't know if you followed what just happened this past week.
So they pulled a quarterback?
It's the first time in my life of watching a game where I was like, oh, these guys are like literally in front of our face throwing a football game. They purposely were losing the game.
Didn't the quarterback come in and like immediately threw a pick something?
He threw a pick, and then the Philly defense got an interception. He came back on the field. Then he fumbled the snap on the next play. And then he took 2 sacks on the next 2 plays. This is Nate Sudfeld.
Jesus Christ.
And they're only down 3 points in the third quarter, and they pulled Jalen Hurts and put him in. And, I mean, it was the most obvious throwing of a game because they didn't want the Giants to go to the playoffs. It was a fuck you to the Giants. So, but, I mean, they got Washington in. But it was to the point where they said they had to hold the reports came out this morning that 3 of the linemen for the Eagles, they had to hold them back from going up to Doug Peterson because they were so fucking pissed. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah, I saw a little bit on ESPN where the Eagles right now, because I love them, but it's kind of like, you know that feeling when you're over your friend's house and his parents get into a fight and it's just uncomfortable and you just want to avoid it and you're like, I'm going home. That's how I viewed this season.
Yeah.
And but I like Jason Kelsey's one of my favorite dudes of all time.
Oh, dude, that Super Bowl speech
is electric.
Dude, better than 99.9% of any stand-up comic that's ever walked the earth.
I've never seen anybody murder so fucking hard.
I'm a Patriots fan, and my heart was broken from that Super Bowl, and I didn't want to enjoy his speech. Like, I was fighting wanting to even watch it, but I was like, God, it's so fucking good.
Dude, I saw him pacing, and I was watching it with my dad. I'm like, Dad, Kelsey's going to go off. He's going to go off. Because I could tell as a comedian when somebody's getting into the zone.
Yeah.
And then boom, he did not disappoint. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
That was the I ain't scared of you motherfuckers version of the sports world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. 100%.
You were talking about your coach listening to your album on Christmas, which I had in my notes to tell you about one of my favorite podcast episodes ever of any podcast is your Skeptic Tank from 5 or 6 years ago, where you and Ari went over your album track by track. I remember I was working at Lowe's and I was on overnight shift or whatever, and there was nothing to fucking do. And they had me wiping dew off of grills out front at 5 a.m. The sun barely up, just because busy work. Hey, just go dry them off in the middle of the fucking morning. And I had that album playing, and I could vividly remember doing that dumb shit while I was listening to that fucking CD or that podcast just to get through the fucking work day.
Dude, that is the best compliment ever. Thank you. Because there's something soul crushing about graveyard shift work.
Oh.
I did that for years in LA, and you're just not supposed. There's a certain hour of the night where you're supposed to be asleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's something that'll get you to reevaluate your life, right? You're like, how did I end up here? What went wrong? I would have that thought so often, and I'm like, maybe I should have rebelled more as a teenager. I would have gotten a girlfriend. I would have been married now. Comedy would not even be an option because I'd be paying for diapers.
Yeah.
There I was in LA. Dude, I worked graveyard shift at a place called the Hollywood Gym in the heart of Hollywood from 2005 to 2000. I worked graveyard shift for about 3 years, but I worked at the gym for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
The characters, dude. If you're working out at 3 o'clock in the morning, something is not right in your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm fat as shit now, but whenever I was in high school until about 5 years ago, I only worked in gyms. It's the only job I ever had. And I worked in gyms.
Right?
Dude, I not only did I work at gyms, there was a summer where I lived at the gym. I had an air mattress in the aerobics room in the back, and I lived there for 3 fucking months. Dude, you see some incredible people in there.
I would say I've hung out in comedy clubs, I've hung out in churches, I've gone to anonymous meetings over the course of my 20 years in LA. The craziest people I've ever met in my life were gym rats.
The nastiest bathrooms.
Oh, but also the best laughs I've ever had have been in the gym. And that's when I started to realize there are some people that you would never pick out of a crowd, but that is the dude you do not want to mess with ever.
Yep.
Ever. The kindest, humble, most normal looking guy has been studying Krav Maga since he was 18 months old. And you're like, oh, he's going to take a pencil and murder everybody.
Yeah, and then you get guys that are 350 pounds of pure muscle that couldn't take a punch.
Yep.
Bob Sapp walking in there.
Dude, Bob Sapp's one of the biggest human beings of all time.
It's incredible to look at.
Yeah. Show some respect.
Longest yard, by the way, with Uncle Joey.
Bob Sapp. I'm just going to say one of my highlights of my 20 years in LA was being on the set of The Longest Yard with Uncle Joey.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Dude, his trailer was next to Goldberg's. I got to meet all of those guys. It was the coolest.
Goldberg came back on Monday Night Raw last night.
Get the fuck out.
He really did.
He really did.
Yeah. What's that?
Goldberg came back on WWE last night.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he came back and challenged for the WWE title.
Okay.
They called him Oldberg.
Yeah, well, they should have. That's a pretty good one.
Dude, yeah, because what was that, like 97 that he came out?
Yeah, that was to late 90s.
He was a stepdad in the 90s. I mean, he was like everybody's stepdad. And then now, yeah, dude, get the fuck out, dude. Yeah, he needs to go home.
He's back
to the retirement home and fucking eat some goddamn Jello.
Yeah, and I'm not saying any of that. I just, on the record, I'm not saying that at all.
Hey,
if I ever tell my woman, I'm going to be like, hey, I heard you talking smack. No, sir.
Hey, Bill, we would love to have you on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I once gave Ari Shafir a Goldberg t-shirt. It was one of my prized possessions. This is like probably 2002. And I was like, this dude might be the toughest Jewish guy of all time. Ari,
That's a great fucking point. Oh, man, we just did our Rushmore of Jews with Ari 2 weeks ago, last week. And we didn't even have Goldberg on the fucking list. I didn't even think of that. How did I not think of
Brett
Goldberg?
Ernst. Have you guys had Brett Ernst on the podcast yet?
Yeah, not, but that's a great idea.
Oh, he's great. And he would honestly try to start conversations with the random questions.
Yeah.
And he would be like, toughest Jew ever. Would he be like Goldberg or Mickey from Rocky? Like he would. Oh, you guys froze on me.
Oh, shit. You froze. I can hear you.
Why is it freezing?
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Let's see. Where are we?
You're frozen too, but we can still hear you, I think.
Oh. Frozen. Can you hear me? Okay,
You're back. We're back. Are we
back?
Good.
Yeah.
We're back.
What's that? That Mississippi internet. Woo!
I was so scared. I'm like, no. I'm making friends. That was the grown-up version of building a ramp and you're about to ride your bike off it and your mom's like, Steven, dinner. You're like, son of a fish. I just got the ramp ready.
Oh man,
that's.
I forgot about ramps when I was a kid. I used to get a bike every single year for Christmas.
Whoa, lucky ducky.
Oh yeah, but I would break the bike by like the beginning of February. So the reason why I got a new bike is because it would add to my bike graveyard where I took parts from. But we used to have a trail, man, because I lived in Georgia, right at the end of the Appalachian Mountains. So it's just really hilly, not really mountains, but very hilly.
That had to be awesome.
Yeah, we had a trail that culminated at the bottom with a jump over a creek bed. And when I was, 12 or 13, that creek bed jump was 30 feet. I mean, it was massive. I look back at it.
30 feet?
Well, when I was that young. Yeah.
There we go. I got better lighting for you guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, look at those rafters.
Jeez, are you in a cabin of my heart?
Is that a stone wall?
That's at the fireplace.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful house.
So there was a 30-foot like escape from Snake Mountain jump.
Are you saying like it seemed like 30 foot because you were so young?
Okay. I looked at it. I looked back at it when I was like 18 or 20, and I was like, okay, that's 6 feet maybe. But I mean, it's 6 feet of air. So I mean, it's still like kind of impressive. But we got so fucked up on those trails so many times. I remember one time specifically, me and my friend were basically trying to see how close we could ride each other. So I was on his ass the entire time going down these trails, and they're back and forth. Hey, chill, dude, chill. We're like back and forth, and we're going down. He hits the jump, and he loses his shit, and the bike goes flying. And I remember he landed on the ground on his back and butt and was sliding. And I remember as he was sliding, he caught me in his vision, and his eyes just got wide, like, oh shit. And then he started doing like this, like don't do the jump or whatever. And I was like, dude, I am so far past committed. Like, this is going to happen. And I remember I got in the air, and luckily I kicked my bike out to the right, but I still like landed on him. Dude, it was like we got in a fight times 1,000. Like, we were so fucking bruised up. It's crazy that we never broke anything on those trails.
That's what I'm a firm believer that guardian angels are real.
Yeah.
Because I just think back to stuff that happened to me as a kid, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
There's no way.
We had a kid, he got impaled by a stick on those trails, like riding bikes. There was just a stick hanging out from a tree, and it hit him, and it like went all the way through his arm. I know a girl who, same thing, riding a four-wheeler, had a stick go through between her ankle bone and her Achilles tendon, went through that, and she walked into the emergency room with that sticking out both sides.
Oh my God, she's a warrior.
Yeah. Oh, she is all due respect to Miss Williams. She is a tough bitch. She still is. She has been through some shit.
That Carol kid you knew wouldn't even flinched.
Yeah, Glenn wouldn't want to fight her.
Yeah, Glenn would have.
Okay, you can have my piece of cake. It's cool.
All right, we do have some listener questions for
right,
you. I have written down.
Okay, yeah, no, you can go ahead.
Yeah,
no, because I got something that's probably gonna take up quite a bit of time.
Nelson Reyes
Okay.
asked, "Tell us about Marky's fake ID."
Oh,
Okay, that was a good
a podcast once. First off, getting booze when you're underage is like getting pirate treasure.
Oh
yeah, of course.
And if you get a fake ID, that's an access to a whole other social stratus. Like if you can get beer, you are getting to the party.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just going to talk allegedly here. I don't want to put anybody's business out there.
Of course.
But I think it would be, how can I do this in a short way? Because I probably shouldn't have done this on another podcast. But let's just say somebody I know became an urban legend because they somehow got a legitimate fake ID. Or wouldn't it be interesting if, imagine you're in high school and you have like a real driver's license that looks close enough like you with also another photo ID with that same name. Let's just like, one of my favorite Simpsons ever was when Homer Simpson sang that song when I was 17. I drank some really good beer or something like that. And his fake ID name was Brian McGee. So let's say you had a Brian McGee driver's license that was legit.
Yeah.
Brian McGee backup ID with a photo legit. You could walk in anywhere and get beer. And let's just say maybe you were underage and the person working at the beer store, because in Pennsylvania, I don't know how it works now, but when I was in high school back in the 90s, you had to go to a special store that sold beer.
Yeah, that's how we have it in Mississippi.
You couldn't like get it in Winn-Dixie or something. You had to. So the guy, checks ID and he's like, okay, this is real. And then let's say because you can get beer whenever you want it, you're buying a lot of it.
Yeah.
And you become buddies with this guy.
Good customer, yeah.
Yep. And then let's just say, as you're getting ready to graduate high school, the local newspaper runs photos of the graduating class, and there's another name. Let's say instead of Brian McGee, it says Homer Simpson, and circled in the newspaper in red is a picture of Homer Simpson. And let's say Homer walks in thinking he's Brian McGee, everything's cool. Sure. And the owner goes, hey, Brian, there's something in the back I want you to try out. It's a new beer I brought in. And Homer walks back there and he sees the paper. And the guy that owns the beer store just shakes his hand and says, it's been a hell of a relationship.
That's hilarious.
I have a similar story because I used to play in bands, and like if you play in a band, nobody asks any fucking questions because you basically work there. So, I mean, there was a bar called 85 in Columbus, Georgia, where I grew up, and I was drinking in there when I was 18, 19. But it would be a situation where we were playing a show, and the bartender saw me set up my equipment and everything, and then saw me come over to the bar and get a beer. So nobody asked any questions. So because of that, just like your alleged friend, made a relationship with the bartender, or made a relationship with the entire fucking staff, made a relationship with the owner. So I was a regular. I was a bar rat at like 19, 20. I would be in there almost every single night drinking my ass off. And then the only night that I didn't get served was the night of my 21st birthday. We had a show, my 21st birthday, and we had all these fucking flyers and shit. It was like Pepper's 21st birthday, blah, blah, blah. And I walked in and the bartender was like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. We could have gotten in so much trouble. I was like, you never ID'd me, you motherfucker.
Yeah. I got caught when I was still too young because I was playing at the local bar here since I was like 16 years old, and my car got backed into in the parking lot. And whenever I went out there, I literally made the comment, I just fucking graduated tonight. Now my car got hit. And the bar owner's like, wait a minute. Because I've been in there for like 2 years. And I graduated high school that night. He's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I didn't get served all night. And then when we were on stage when it hit midnight. So we're on stage. My lead singer turns around. He's like, all right, stop the show. It's midnight. And somebody brings up a tray, like a serving tray that you see at a bar full of shots. There had to be like 8 or 10. And I was like, oh, no, dude. Like, obviously, I'm not a shot guy. And you just brought me like 10 of my worst nightmare. And and I'm 21 too. So it's not like delicious shots. It's dickhead shots.
Yeah, they're trying to be mean.
Yeah.
So getting punches, but instead of punches, it's ugh. I'm getting that reflex where like so many bad memories, flashbacks are coming back to horrible decisions and stupid things.
Yeah. So I have an entire bar with like 50 people in it, peer pressuring me into taking shots. So I ended up taking like 3. And I remember, I think we had 1 or 2 songs left. I played those songs, and I remember I dropped my bass on the stage, didn't even turn the volume off. So my bass is like making all kinds of crazy noises. I run to the bathroom, I puke my fucking guts out. I come back, pack up all my shit, and I remember on the way home, it's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, I stop at the gas station by my house. I buy a 12-pack of Heineken. The motherfucker didn't even ID me. I was like, are you kidding me?
I had a teacher, Mr. Barbella, Tom Barbella, in 6th grade, because like, you know, you're in middle school and you want to and he was like, trust me, guys, as soon as you turn 21, nobody's really ever going to ask for your ID. You're just going to carry yourself in a different way.
I don't think I mean, obviously at fucking 16, 17, it's different when you're playing music. Like you said, working at the bar, basically. Yeah. Like you never get carded.
And you learn doing that shit, like you learn all the bar tendencies too and stuff. Like, and you don't walk up to the bar and be like, can I have a
what tastes good?
Yeah. Can I have a slippery nipple or something that I've heard on a TV show? Like, you know.
You remember the first drink you ordered in a bar?
Yeah. I went super I went like PBR. I just went like a beer.
It's a strong choice.
Mine was Rumplemints.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I still drink. But I was sick going to play that show, and I told the bartender, I was like, I can't. There's no way I'm gonna be able to sing. And she was just like, drink this. It'll make you all fucking better. And I drank it, and it opened me the fuck up, and I felt great. But yeah, it'll fucking get you.
I remember I didn't think we were gonna get into this bar, and we just got in. I don't know how. I don't remember. Because it was before I got my fake ID, which was a horror show, which was a Georgia fake ID. It was so fake, like where they had a cutout board, and like I stood in front of it, like out of a movie. But I remember I didn't know what to order in a bar, and I had seen that movie Goodfellas, so I was just like, "Give me a 7 and 7." Like I did that with my hand, and they're like, "What are you, 60?"
They're like, "Leave, dude."
And they're like, "There's no way you're 21."
More garlic in the fucking sauce.
I think there's a comedian who has a joke, and the drink that he orders is like, "Can I have a rusty screwdriver or some shit like that, or rusty nail?" It's like that is the grossest drink of all time. It's like, but it's something you see in movies, so you don't know any better.
I'm so happy. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine last week where I'm like, I'm so happy I'm cool with not being cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I almost ruined my life. Like there were nights I shouldn't have survived drinking.
Yeah.
I should have pulled a Bon Scott. Like I remember once I was like, if you don't turn your head right now, you're going to swallow your puke. Like my guardian angel, I'm so sorry for all the work I put them through, the bad situations I found myself in because of drinking. And now people could be like, oh, you're a pussy. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Have a good night. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I'd rather have a milkshake. Like, you know what's delicious? A milkshake is delicious. Jack Daniels, disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, that was my last drink. Like, I was like, Sinatra drank it. And I would just, or bourbon. Like, I guess every once in a while I could have a bourbon on the rocks. But sip it, you know? Not try to be cool.
Yeah. I got a question. This is kind of a general question.
Okay.
Wait, what are you doing, Thomas?
It just popped up until we were signed out because we're on another device.
Oh, it's fine. Danish and O'Neill.
Love those guys.
Love those guys too. I real quick, I want to give them a huge thank you. I've said it before, but holy shit, like them playing my dumb fuck music on their podcast has opened so many doors. Like,
that's awesome.
I mean, this week, I'm not going to mention names, but I had 2 giant comedians hit me up for theme songs for their podcast.
Whoa, congratulations.
I mean, it's just, and it's all from their shit. So, and I mean, I'm sure a ton of guests, I've met a ton of our guests through shit like that. Like, it's just, they have been absolutely incredible.
2, I got to just go on the record and say, 2 of the most legitimately hysterical guys to ever walk the earth. Like, legitimately hysterical.
Yeah.
And 2 of the most genuine, kind human beings. More importantly, those guys they are like, their comedy's crazy and it's out there. And like, I remember they gave me a Boner City USA shirt with the monster
truck.
I loved it. But then like, I'm like, I can't wear this in public. People are staring at me.
Dude, they have a new Patreon podcast called Beach Cops. And
I heard about it.
Dude, I mean, it sounds like I'm lying when I talk about it, but I think it is the funniest podcast full time.
I believe it.
But I mean, you have to be in that groove to get it and everything. And like if you listen to an episode now with no prior like listening to any other episodes, you would be. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But like with the history, oh my god, like it's by far the hardest I've ever. People have wrecked their cars laughing listening to that.
Dude, I'm gonna sign up for their Patreon, and I'm gonna start with episode 1.
Yes, dude, please do. It's
I should totally. I need something in my life. I need some laughs to look forward to because I don't have that. Like, I'm so grateful that I'm safe and my family's safe, and I'm gonna be able to take care of my parents and stuff. But I miss. Like, you guys have no idea what it was like being a fan of comedy. Like, I'm more of a fan than a comedian. And to be able to go to the Comedy Store every night and see the best in the world, kill it on stage, and then the conversations that you would have at that back door or the back bar were, I miss it so much. There's not even a word.
Yeah, man, it sucks. I mean, have you seen some of the Zoom comedy shows?
No.
It is more horrific than you could even imagine. It's so bad. And I mean, because there's just no substitute for that. Like it has to be in front of you. It has to be somebody talking to you directly, like,
to the crowd.
Yeah. You have to feel the energy and everything.
100% so. Like I always say, stand-up comedies like fireworks. They're cool on TV, but it's way cool.
Yeah, way better in person.
Oh, that's a great analogy. Yeah. But Danish and O'Neill, and quick aside, Grant McElvaney says, hey, he's a giant fucking fan of yours.
What's up, Grant?
But can I get your favorite Danish and O'Neill story? And even if it's just Jeff Dennis or just Ryan O'Neill, can I get one good story from one of them?
Well, my favorite story is one Jeff told me about when he threw a racquetball at his dad's testicle.
So racquetballs are hard.
His dad got legit pissed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a human.
For O'Neill, my favorite story is about his dad raising the falcon.
Oh my god. Steve, have you ever listened to episode 50 of the Danish and O'Neill podcast where they interview his dad?
Specific.
No.
Steve.
There's so many gems out there. See, this is the thing. Like, I have to come up to speed because it's like I would see those guys at the store. I remember when those guys were door guys at the Comedy Store, and I'm like, these are the funniest guys ever.
Yeah, it's crazy because I never listened to Dennis and O'Neill. Pepper was a huge Dennis and O'Neill guy, and then Jeff Dennis was our first like professional comedian guest we got.
Big guest.
And then and I fucking love talking to the guy, and he happened to be a Patriots fan. I'm a Patriots fan, so we bonded a little bit. And he loved wrestling, and we got to talk to him about that.
He's the coolest.
And he was so fucking cool. And then we finally had Ryan a few months later, and it might be the hardest I've ever laughed on this podcast talking to him. And I'm like, man, I've never even heard their show, and these are two of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever talked to.
Okay, so episode 50 of their show with Steve O'Neill, his dad. I've listened to it at least 10 times because when it starts off, he's an older guy and he's pretty reserved and everything, but you can tell just by listening to it that they're drinking.
Oh, that's great. And
he starts letting go towards the end. So in the beginning, he's like, well, this guy said this, and I wasn't too happy about it, but I'm not going to say names or anything. It's that's between us. By the end of it, he's like, and I'll say his name, and his name was Jeff Dennis or whatever. He's like, and if I ever see him again, I'll whoop his ass.
O'Neill's dad was a legit badass.
Dude, he would like pull guns on people in traffic and shit, and he raised falcons.
Yeah, badass. American hero. Men like that built this country, and we honestly. Everybody's like, oh, toxic masculinity. I go, built the world. Let's bring it back because we're fucked right now. Part of my language. We need to bring it back.
I agree.
More people 100%. Like O'Neill's dad.
Yes, Steve O'Neill. Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
He was a great man though. All right, you got another fan question?
Yeah.
We actually I think you have cultivated the best fan questions we've ever got.
Oh, wow.
And the most across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah.
People were very excited.
I had no idea.
Even people messaging us. People were messaging us like, hey, can you ask him this?
Okay.
People legitimately think of you as an American treasure.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to just turn this off and run away and be like,
I'm not comfortable with compliments either.
Yeah, if you want to make it a little more awkward. Carrie by God hair.
Okay.
He says, Steve is the embodiment of the phrase, their enthusiasm is infectious. Sincerely love the guy like a member of my own family. So genuine.
Wow.
That's a nice fucking guy.
That's awesome. Thank you, buddy.
He wanted to know, and so did Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wanted to know if you have a favorite wrestling match or favorite wrestling memory.
Okay. My favorite memory was the first time I saw professional wrestling live.
Oh.
And I remember everything about it.
Where was it?
It was at the Philadelphia Spectrum. I want to say it was probably 1984. No, 80. Yeah, maybe it was the summer of 84.
Is that like where the Sixers play?
Yeah, where the Sixers play, the Flyers play, and I got to see Hulkamania run wild.
Yeah, that's prime Hulkamania too.
Prime Hulkamania. It was before the Hulkamania logo.
Yep.
I remember I had a black tank top with gold letters that said American Made, with 3 rips down the back, a headband.
Hell yeah.
I think Rocky 3 came out that year, didn't it? Or 83?
Yeah, I think what happened was Rocky 3 came out the year before.
Yeah, 83.
And I totally remember, like, before the internet, you just had to rely on your memory.
Sure.
But I remember when Hulk Hogan was a bad guy. He had a WWF run prior to Rocky 3. He was managed by Freddie Blassie. And it influenced a lot of my comedy, because I remember there was an incident where Andre the Giant was not on the card. Okay. He's not supposed to be in the building. And these are house matches before Raw, before pay-per-views, before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So Andre the Giant was literally and figuratively the biggest draw in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I was a little kid. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And I had fallen asleep in front of the TV when they would show it live from the Philadelphia Spectrum. And I was asleep. And I just remember my dad screaming at the top of his lungs, "You're missing it! The 8th wonder of the world! Andre the Giant! He wasn't even on the card!" My dad went running upstairs and pulled me and my little brother out of bed. And like, I was a little kid and I had heard the legend of Andre the Giant, but it may have been the first time I ever saw him.
Yeah.
And I'm wiping sleep from my eyes. And I'm like, is that a real giant? And that feeling was so joyful that I based my whole comedy career off of that.
Wow.
That feeling of excitement of that there's still magic in the world and there's still things to celebrate. So my favorite professional wrestling moment was, now Hulk Hogan's a good guy. And the reason why Andre was there was to stop Hulk Hogan before Rocky 3.
Yeah.
I remember Rocky 3 in the theater, glorious, tons of great memories about that. And then I made this sign for Hulkamania to run wild. And I used to be like a good artist. I don't know what happened. I can't do it anymore. You know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
I drew this awesome picture of Hulk Hogan, and I had that, and then I put out letters like Hulkamania running wild.
I wish you
and
still
I was
had that
such an
poster.
idiot. I didn't know that you hold your sign when Hulk Hogan comes out. I'm holding it the whole night.
All night.
Yeah.
All night. Like, this is why I'm here, baby. Hulkamania. And my arms got tired. And like, little kids are like they're temperamental.
Yeah.
Like I remember having a good time and being a pain in the ass, and why'd he get popcorn and I didn't get popcorn, that sort of stuff. And then I was like, I'm not even holding my sign. Maybe somebody, because it was Philly, maybe somebody spit on it. Like, I don't know. I just remember I didn't want to hold the sign. And then by the time Hulk Hogan came out, my little brother was like, well, I'll hold it. And I'm like, fine, go ahead. And my little brother's holding the sign, loving it. And then about a year later, a videotape came out. It was called Hulkamania Volume 1. And it had the match that I saw, that I was there for. It was Hulk Hogan versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. And in the video, in slow motion, you can see Marky holding the sign above his head. And I'm like, Mark made Hulkamania.
This might be the first time Pepper has actually been attentive and enjoyed Wrestle Talk.
Yeah, no, that's true.
On Wrestle Podcast. Because Pepper doesn't do wrestling at all. I'm a wrestling guy.
I'll listen to anything Steve Simeone says. He could explain to me like how bacteria works, and I'd be super into it.
Well, shout out Carrie by God Hair, because that was a great question, because that made her great.
Buddy. Thank you.
All right, Montauk Crinklebottom.
Yeah, tremendous name.
That's his wizard name for beach cups.
He wanted to know, if he flies to Philly, will your little brother discount him some dental work?
Yep.
Boom. Moving on.
We were talking about how it would be hilarious if your little brother was not a dentist at all.
Dude, the best is about 2 years ago, like, one of my favorite things in life is just random phone calls from Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
Like, random. And he was just like, that crown your brother put in hasn't moved. Tremendous work. That's got to be 10 years ago. You tell your brother. He goes, you know what? What if I do a commercial for him? Gratis on the house.
Oh, my God.
The best
Can you
work
imagine?
ever done. He goes, I never felt a thing. He had the hands of a saint. I didn't feel nothing.
He's got
I could eat rock salt on that side of my mouth and I'm good to go. So my prayer is, now that Uncle Joey's in Jersey, at some point he'll shoot a commercial for my brother.
Could you imagine how good that commercial would be?
I'm for sure going to clip this and send it to Joey to go do a commercial.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah, both my brothers are the best people in the world. they're my heroes because they're dads, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just see how hard they work for their families. And I go, dude, I don't know. Like, I'd get to a point like everybody thinks I'm nice. That's because I don't have to deal with shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I were like, I don't know where they get their patience from. I don't know where they get their strength from. Because like when you think about a dad, the only thing they do is go to someplace and make money, and everybody else gets to spend it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. They're both my heroes.
Yeah. Well, you get to spend some.
Would you rather never have a Philly cheesesteak again,
Ooh.
or never listen to Hall & Oates again? That's from Jake Chavez.
Cheesesteak. I'd rather have that because I need the Hall & Oates. I could eat a roast pork sandwich or a chicken cutlet sandwich.
Great point.
But Huey Lewis and the News is tremendous.
Sure.
Lionel Richie is tremendous, but it ain't the blue-eyed soul of Hall & Oates.
No.
Like I put that music. I think I coined the phrase. I never heard anybody say it. I didn't think it was a big deal until Joe Coy was like, "You should make that a thing." I call it audio Prozac. There's certain music that if I hear it and I can't, and the tough thing is I have to keep it in the vault because if you listen to it over and over again, it loses its magical powers.
Oh yeah.
But Hall & Oates, when I get depressed, I'll put in some Hall & Oates and life is good.
We just got a record player this Christmas. My mother-in-law gave me one, and I have a stack of 45s that my mom had. That's, it's a shit ton. And we found Hall & Oates is one of them, and then we found Foreigner.
Oh, Foreigner, one of the most underrated bands of all time.
Thank you, dude. I've been saying that for years. Thank you,
dude. Me and my brother have like a
know
joke.
What love is.
Me and my brother have
cold as ice.
Me and my brother have like a joke to where like if we're waiting on something, be like, oh, we'll get there in 3 hours or something. Be like, oh, let's just start naming Foreigner songs.
Dude,
we'll fucking be there before we finish.
Fox Hero, dude, they killed it.
I saw him live.
Urgent.
I got to see him live in like.
You got to see Foreigner live?
Yeah, like it was probably like 2007, and it was Jason Bonham. It was John Bonham's son was drumming for him.
How did I not know that? That sounds like a heaven concert.
Yeah,
like,
it was incredible.
Sounds like what happens when you're waiting to get into heaven. Dude, that's insane.
It was Bryan Adams, REO Speedwagon, Foreigner.
Oh, that would have my money. Well, I don't care what the price is. Bryan Adams, everything I do. That's my favorite kind of music.
Oh, dude.
Like, I go to the gym and listen to the soft rock from the 80s.
Hell yeah.
And everybody thinks maybe I am insane, but it just puts me in such a good mood. Dude, can I take it real fast? I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Heaven by Bryan Adams might be the greatest love song of all time.
I'm not familiar with Bryan Adams.
What? He just said everything I do it for you.
Brian, and then there's
Heaven?
Ryan Adams. Which one is Ryan Adams?
That's the dude that like fucked over Mandy Moore. That's the young guy. Bryan Adams is the 80s.
Well, what is his song?
He doesn't do anything.
He had
did
a song.
No, he did not. He got really popular because he redid Taylor Swift's 1984 album.
No,
he did like a folk cover of that fucking album.
Because, oh man, I don't remember.
He
somebody got in a fight at a show because somebody called them the wrong name.
Hold on.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but my 10th grade English teacher told us about it.
Not Ryan Adams.
It was either Ryan Adams or Bryan Adams.
It had to be Bryan. Because Ryan Adams is like our age.
Oh, okay, no. Okay, maybe. But somebody who did Summer of '69?
Brian.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was Ryan Adams. It was Ryan Adams. He was on stage playing a show, and somebody said, "Play Summer '69," and apparently it just set him the fuck off, and he jumped off stage and whooped the dude.
People do not say nice things about that guy. Ryan, not Brian, but Ryan Adams. He's the one that allegedly like fucked over Mandy Moore, but him and Jason Isbell were best friends for years.
Yeah.
And Jason,
really?
Yeah, and Jason has written. Oh, I fucking love Jason Isbell too. But he's written like 2 or 3 songs about like Ryan Adams fucking him over.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Not
Life's too short, bro.
But
cool.
Bryan Adams is one of the greatest love songwriters of all time.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was going through my depression years at the Comedy Store, from like the first time I got there to like about 10 years ago, like the first 10 years in LA.
Yeah.
When I used to manage the Comedy Store, and I used to listen to soft rock on the radio back there, and there was this lady named Delilah, and dude, it was the best. To me, it's still the funniest thing ever.
Delilah.
Yeah, the real desperation in somebody's voice, and they're like, if she could just hear this song, it's gonna say everything I just can't. And like, I think there's nothing funnier than that because every one of us has been in that position. Well, everything I do, and like how she would talk over the intro, and she'd be like, Gia, this is from Steve. There's so much, and then you hear everything I do.
Yeah. She timed it perfect. Delilah was the master of giving you like the most passive aggressive advice, to where you'd be like, so I really don't. My daughter said she's gonna run away from home, and I really don't know what to do. And Delilah would be like, "Look, I think what you need to do is just be a better listener. I don't know if you're the right parent, but here's a song." And just fucking play something.
So mean. That's hysterical.
Dude, Delilah's the shit.
A better job. She'd love you back.
Yeah, maybe you're the problem. Anyways, here's Hall & Oates. Speaking of the Comedy Store, though, I did have a question from Hayden Spivey that was very general. It was giving me a Comedy Store story, but I'm going to juice that up a little bit because they just had that Ghost Adventures episode last week. Do you have any experience with the ghosts at the Comedy Store? Any haunting?
100% so.
I need to hear that.
I'll tie in pro wrestling and a ghost story.
Yes.
Oh, God, my heart.
Okay. This is one of my coolest memories from the Comedy Store. So in January of 2009, I became very good friends with the late, great Roddy Piper.
One of my heroes.
One of my all-time heroes. As a person and a wrestler.
He would absolutely be on my Rushmore of people I wish could have came on Rushmore.
Oh, wow. He'd be on my Rushmore for pro wrestling. Because, like, he was so hated that's what sold WrestleMania. Anyway, we became buddies, and he's, like, the sweetest guy. He was what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, the nicest guys are the toughest guys. That was Roddy. And he loved the ghost stories. He was into the paranormal and conspiracies and UFOs. I mean, we're both kind of nerds. That's why we were buddies. And I gave him a ghost tour once because I don't want to, like, I get weirded out telling this story. When I was managing the Comedy Store, I had an incident upstairs in the belly room. Okay.
Yeah.
Where the lights popped off. It was completely black, and I felt something walk by me.
That's lights popped off by themselves.
Yeah. The emergency floodlight. It's a 20-minute story. I'm giving you the fast version.
That's pretty scary.
Pretty scary. And then there's a great comedian by the name of Craig Gass, and his first night at the Comedy Store, the only thing he wanted to hear was ghost stories. I told him that. He was waiting for me downstairs, and he's like, "Take me upstairs to that room." I'm like, "No." Long story short, when we go back up there, all the chairs were stacked, like, in a minute. Okay. But the Comedy Store story I want to tell you guys is I got to give a ghost tour with Roddy Piper when his buddy Hacksaw Jim Duggan was in town.
Wow.
So I never liked to tell that story about the light and all that stuff up in the room. But I remember going, I have Roddy Piper and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm not afraid. Yeah. So I'm telling the story to them. And me and Roddy were on one side of a door. They had a door that was opened at the top of the steps. And it was the steps that the waitresses would use. So there was a hook to keep the door open at the bottom of the door. Uh-huh. So you would open it, hook it in, and then waitresses could bring trays of drinks through. So me and Roddy are at the top of the steps. Hacksaw's actually in the belly room. I'm telling the story as I say the light pops off the door. Nobody touched the door. Nobody unhooked the door. The door just shut. Roddy and I looked at each other like, that just happened. We opened the door and Hacksaw Jim Duggan stand there and he goes, "I don't know about that, Hot Rod, but that was pretty weird." And Hacksaw Jim Duggan loved the tour so much that the following night I got to give Hacksaw, his wife, and daughters a tour, a ghost tour.
Wow.
Oh, that's fucking incredible. It would be hilarious if it was Hulk Hogan and he just attacks Roddy from behind. He slammed the door. Oh, that's a great story.
Oh, man.
Well, that worked out. I think that might be it on the fan questions. Fuck, marry, kill.
Ooh. Okay.
Joey Diaz, Lee Syatt.
Oh, come on.
And Ari Shaffir.
I can't do it.
All right, you know what? Lee, we're going to leave you out of this one. You got to pass, Lee.
Sorry.
Love you. Joey Diaz, Ari Shaffir, Danish and O'Neal, but it has to be both of them.
As a team.
Can't.
None of them?
I will say that Uncle Joey and Ari, because I've known them so long, like they were two of the first people that I would talk to at the Comedy Store. So I've known those guys for 20 years.
Yeah.
And like people say it all the time, like my friends are like my family.
Yeah.
I feel blessed that I have two guys like that in my life that are really like family to me. Like Joey Diaz is the reason why I got out of LA. Yeah. He was just like, "You got to go, dog. We're going to leave no man behind. These streets are talking. We got to get you out of here." He had seen some stuff go down and he was like, "I'm going to leave, but I'm not going to let you stay here without me to get your back."
I listened to that Honeydew episode it was like, I think it was like the day that you moved out,
Uh-huh.
and you were talking about that, and you told a story about Fat James and donuts. That,
Yeah, God rest his soul.
dude, I cried listening to that story. I don't know what hit me about that. We were actually about to do a podcast, and I was in his brother's house alone listening to that story, and I think it was feeling you feel so bad about like being addicted to Fat James. Like that shit got me, and I started crying.
Bro. One of the coolest things Ari ever did, and I hope he brings it back because people are going to need stuff like this once the world opens. But I think it might have been 3 years ago. I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. But Ari did a live storyteller show in Denver.
Yeah.
And it was me, Ari, Sean Patton, Mark Norman, Joe List, I think, and a couple other guys popped in on the show.
Yeah.
Sold out everything. They were adding shows and they would sell out in 10 minutes. And because it wasn't stand-up, it was storytelling.
Yeah. With some of the best.
Dude, the best. And Ari paid us all like headliners. Instead of Ari taking the money and giving us all a little taste, he split up the money equally. That's how cool Ari is. And I really needed the money at that point. And I told the full Fat James, like I did like 25 minutes of Fat James stories, like leading up to like starting with the donuts and going to something even sadder afterwards. And I never talked about him in public or whatever. And people were crying in the audience. And it was just, I don't know, like it was one of those things where I didn't realize everybody had a Fat James in their life.
Yeah.
Everybody had that roommate where you're like, how did we become buddies? And why do I love, like, you know, and everybody wanted to talk to me after that show and tell me about the one person they became friends with. And they're like, I don't know how that happened, but
yeah, it is weird. I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess everybody does have that guy where like, he's just heart of gold, lovable, but Jesus Christ, will he get on your nerves and like stuff like that. And it's, I never thought about that. But
you talking about me right now?
Oh, well, I'm glad you caught on to that so quickly. You're a smart guy. You ready to get into this topic, dude?
Yes, but you did tell me to write down that you wanted to bring up children hospital themes.
Oh, yeah. You well, that's a bad way to say it.
You can't go from Fat James into that.
No. We'll save that for later. There was a time where you were asking. It was children hospital stuff. You were asking for help and stuff, and I was gonna hit you up and I was gonna do like some theme songs for kids.
That'd be cool.
But so if you ever want to do that, I am a theme song guy now, and I can do it even easier. I think that'd be a cool thing. Give them like it's like, this is your theme song. It's a song about you.
Dude, that's, you know, it's so funny you're saying that because I kind of got a little burnout from that kind of work.
Yeah.
It'll get you.
Yeah.
And then this is, I mean, I believe in God. I don't know what people, but it's coincidence.
Yeah.
The charity I was a board member on, the guy that started that charity, like one of my best friends, he lives here in this little town in Florida where I'm living now. Mm-hmm. And the kid who brought me to Children's Hospital for my first blood drive there, he lives 40 minutes away.
Oh, wow.
So when I was driving to this house, there's like three children's hospitals here in town.
Yeah.
And I went, all right, we're going to start it up. Like, we're going to start with a blood drive and then pray that we can get some money into the pockets of these families.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're in the right place.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I believe in signs. There's plenty of signs that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Just don't get blown over by a hurricane, dude. They are really shit. If there's a Cat 4, get the fuck out, dude. I'm telling you.
When I was driving across country, we had to stay in Texas because one was going one way, and then I had to gun it across Louisiana and Mississippi, to get on the other side of the hurricane in August.
Yeah. See, and that's where we're at. We're in the middle. We're in Gulf Coast, Mississippi. We're right at the bottom of Mississippi.
Yeah. Bro, I drove right by you guys. And the traffic was going the other way. And I'm with my girlfriend. I'm like, this is not a good sign. And I just kept on driving until I got to Florida.
Did you? Yeah, I live off exit 69 in Mississippi.
Yeah, on I-10.
I don't think you guys are that far. Hey, you want to hang out? Like,
I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do it. Because I don't think they're that far.
Where are you staying at in Florida?
I'm in Central Florida right now.
Central Florida. Yeah,
it's
not that far.
Not that far.
Yeah, don't get stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your address?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this goddamn topic. All right, we got siblings, our Rushmore of siblings. It's a great topic.
Yeah, I'm doing all brothers for the record.
Oh,
I had low hopes, but once I started getting into it, I had two that I was like, oh my God. Like, poof.
There's only been
I'm into it now.
3 or 4 guests that come to the table with their own topic. You're one of them. And it's normally a good sign because that means, okay, this is somebody that's putting a thought into their fucking picks.
Yeah.
We had Jeff Dye who picked mascots. And
I love Jeff Dye.
Oh, yeah, he's fucking incredible. And the dude, I don't know if you know this about Jeff Dye.
He has an autistic knowledge of fucking mascots.
He is the mascot encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So he's got an encyclopedia of professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
He's an incredible guy.
He used to date Becky Lynch.
I think I told him, like, it pisses me off that he knows all this shit. He is that funny. He has that much charisma, and then he's that handsome. Like, fuck
and
you,
he's that nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember being like, look at this. Like, he looks like he's the type of guy that would throw shots at somebody like me in high school.
100%.
And then you talk to him and you're like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, we felt like best friends by the end of this fucking podcast.
Yeah, he's got the best Terry Bradshaw stories of all time.
Oh, shit.
And he's got Henry Winkler stories. He's got, like, everybody's story. Dude, his story about the one that he did on Ari's Storyteller show, whatever.
Yeah.
About him stealing the jersey. Oh, my God.
That's so good.
So good.
And then we ended up having Brant Tobler on. Also great fucking stories.
Tobler's the man. I legit. Did you ever read his book?
No, I want to so bad.
You got to read it.
Yeah,
dude. Absolutely. I started listening to his podcast lately.
Yeah.
I'd neglected to. Dude. Okay. He has like different episodes of his podcast. So one will be this theme, one will be this theme. He has one called Craigslist Chaos. Dude, please. Like, you can imagine what that would be. It's like him fucking with Craigslist people. It is genius. And there's recurring characters. Like, he has like brother Jim in Tennessee that he always calls and fucks with. Like, dude, I'm telling you. Like, everybody go check out the 31 with Brant Tobler, specifically Craigslist Chaos. It is incredible. Okay. So this week we are doing our Mount Rushmore of siblings. The
way this works is Pepper will do his number 4. I'll do mine. You'll do yours, and we'll work down to number 1.
Okay.
Pepper, what's your number 4 on Rushmore of Siblings?
My Rushmore of Siblings is the Lucas brothers.
Who?
Lucas brothers. They're twins. Comedy. Okay. They had a show on Fox, I believe, and they are hilarious. As far as a twins act, it's like them and the Sklar brothers, basically. And
I thought you were about to bury the Sklar brothers for a second. I think
the Lucas brothers edge out the Sklar brothers. I like them. They're very funny.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the Lucas brothers. It's crazy that
they're very like deadpan and hipster.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the only thing I know is my buddy from Philly, Joe Matarese, used to teach a comedy class.
Yeah.
I remember going, these 2 kids came into my class and he goes, they're going to make it before I do.
Oh,
and it was the Lucas brothers. He was like, they can't miss.
They got a TV show. I think they were still in their 20s. So, yeah.
All right. Well, for my number 4, I went with a set of 3 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the 3 most athletic men on planet Earth.
Fuck Thomas.
John Jones, Chandler Jones, and Arthur Jones.
Okay, let me give you some facts here.
Great one.
Chandler Jones, 2017 sacks leader, 3-time Pro Bowl, a Super Bowl, 2-time All-Team Pro, 2010s All-Decade. Arthur Jones, a Super Bowl, and really good at football. John Jones, undefeated in his MMA career.
Yeah, he's
11.
I remember Danish and O'Neill, Renazizi, who might be the nicest guy. Like, everybody says I'm nice. Renazizi's a saint.
Yeah.
Let me live at his house for free.
You two kind of look like you could be brothers.
Dude, I love that guy. But I remember he would invite all of us misfits when the league would have its premiere party.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, we got to see what making it was like. And they would do a party with premiere of the league, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
greatest show of all time.
Oh, dude. I mean, I got to meet Danny DeVito. And one night, because FX also had The Ultimate Fighter, John Jones was there, Nate Diaz was there, and we were Clay Guida was there.
Oh my God, Clay Guida.
Oh, dude, and those guys are the coolest. They were the coolest. And Danish actually knew so much about MMA that he was hanging out with John Jones. And I tried to like get into and I wasn't cool enough to get into the conversation.
Okay, so this is going to be like a third-hand story because I heard it on Dave and O'Neill's podcast. But they were hanging out with John Jones. I believe it was at the Comedy Store, and I think it was Ryan. He hit Ryan in the balls so hard.
I think it was at the premiere party.
Okay, it might have been there. He hit him in the balls so hard. He said it's like the most pain he's ever felt in his life. He like doubled over, almost threw up.
For no money would I let John Jones hit me.
Oh no.
What's your number 4, Steve?
But I mean, That, by the way, that was my number one. You piece of
Oh
shit.
shit! I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah, if that's number 4.
Oh,
my
I got
number 4
I got some bangers coming up.
Me too. I hope nobody says my number 1. My number 4 is Malcolm and Angus Young.
oh my
shit.
god, that's a good one, dude. Wow.
I never forgot he had a microphone for a second.
That is a good one.
Dude, AC/DC, like, bro, even their last album is fire. Dean Del Rey's interview with those guys, I mean, it's
Yeah.
AC/DC. Like, I don't have the brain for music the way Dean does.
Yeah.
But I just know every time I hear an AC/DC song, it moves me.
It gives you some energy, dude.
Yeah, dude. Kicked in the teeth again.
Yeah.
Two-faced woman with your two-faced lies. It's
Sorry,
so
are we
good.
podcasting with Dean Del Rey right now? That was incredible.
So good. Yeah. So my 4 is Angus and Malcolm Young.
That's an incredible one.
Also,
man.
Angus is such a good name.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great fucking name.
Yeah. And I mean, he started, like, he was the catalyst for so much of what's going on now. Like, just the way he, like, because his solos, man. And you realize when he started, I'm sure you do, but when he started that band, he was like 16.
Yeah.
Like, he was wearing that little schoolboy outfit, but he was literally like a little fucking
schoolboy.
kid.
Dude, I have this theory that I hope will save the world. But there used to be people that were so talented they became attractive.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do a joke 20 years ago about we need to let ugly people make music again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, do you think Angus Young got laid in high school if he didn't pick up a guitar? No. And that's what drove him to do it. And then somewhere along the line, like, they just started to put models in front of and say, oh, that person's talented.
Yeah.
No. Bring back. Dude, if Angus and Malcolm didn't start a band, they'd probably be in Australia right now, just getting in the bar fights, or
They'd
you
probably
know?
be like working on a mine or some shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, look at Jason Isbell, ain't a looker.
One of
We
the
all
most talented
love
guys
him.
in the world.
Music. But that's great music.
Yeah. Jeff
Sturgill
Ross gets laid.
Simpson-
That was rude.
I'm a huge Sturgill fan.
Oh, yeah. CIA.
What's that? Is he in the CIA?
Is he?
Steve,
I
don't
don't-
even start.
Good
dude.
question.
Don't even start.
Is he?
Don't even start.
Has he
I don't-
ever killed a man?
You know, I didn't like Sturgill. I didn't like
I don't know.
any of his music until that bluegrass album they just put out. I love that.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know enough about that CIA conspiracy, but just look up Sturgill Simpson CIA and see what you find.
No, I don't want that in my Google search.
Hit up Sam Tripoli about it. Ask him.
I dated a girl from Houston that was so into country because that's where she grew up. And bro, we had broken up, and she sent me this first time I ever heard Sturgill Simpson. I'm in an airport, and she just sends me a link to his cover of The
Emblem?
Promise.
Oh, The Promise.
Yeah, and I knew that song from the '80s, but to hear him own it, I'm just getting on my plane crying,
Oh.
baby, and everybody was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't think so."
Yeah, that's rude, dude.
What's your,
Glad
number,
you broke up with her.
what's your number 3, Pepper?
My number 3 is
You have them written down, you know?
yeah, I know. The Avett Brothers.
The Avett Brothers.
So
Wow.
they're a band out of North Carolina. They have very, very beautiful music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I am love and shame, both loads of shame, day after day,
Beautiful.
more of the same. That's one of their songs. Blame, blame. It's really good.
Did you start from the first verse? Or are you just going to go through the whole thing?
No, I was just
My number 3.
Yeah.
Also comedians.
Oh.
Avett Brothers are not comedians.
No.
But also
Musicians.
comedians anyway. Charlie and Eddie Murphy.
you
Oh,
fucker,
tremendous.
dude.
Is
Get
that
the
on your
fuck
list?
out of here, dude.
Is that on
God
your
damn it. Yeah, that was gonna be my new number 1 after you stole my fucking number 1. What the fuck?
I had no idea. To be fair, I can change it. I got 19 honorable mentions written down. You want me to
Gotta
change
give me some now.
it? Yeah. You know what? I'll give
Show
you,
him the honorable mention list.
you want some honorable mentions? I'm going to go ahead and rattle these off and just take one. What? Like we didn't hear it.
Okay.
Honorable mentions. All right. We got, can I read my own handwriting? Venus and Serena Williams.
Tremendous.
The Lawrence brothers, more specifically Matt and Joey.
Whoa.
Yep. 2 of the Wayans brothers. Any of them.
All right, that's my number
All right.
2.
Did you
That's
wait?
what-
Time out. Have you guys ever heard the Rick Ingram Wayans Brothers story?
Nope.
No.
Oh, bro, I witnessed this. This is
Okay.
comedy for folklore. Rick Ingram used to be the parking lot guy at the Comedy Store. I don't know. I'm so old, the years just blend together. And I think it was Sean and Marlon pulled into the Comedy Store a lot during the dead years. the dead years, like when nobody was showing up.
Yeah.
And there was a rule that unless you were a paid regular, you could not park there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew Mitzi's rule, and you just didn't even try. Sean, I believe it was Sean, and may have been Marlon, was driving. And Rick's like, I'm sorry, you can't park here. And they're like, hey man, I'm Sean Wayne. And he goes, I know who you are, but you can't park here. And he goes, I'll tell you what, if you show me Damon or Keenan Ivory, I'll let you park here. And the back window goes down, and it was Keenan Ivory Wayne dying laughing. And he was like, he got you. He got you. And he goes, okay, I respect him. You can park here.
Wow.
You want to talk about a powerhouse family, though?
Oh, my God.
I mean,
Damon Wayans is one of the funniest motherfuckers ever born on this planet.
Ever. His comedy special, Last Man Standing.
Oh,
dude, I got to meet Damon when I was taking a vacation to LA.
Yeah.
And he encouraged me that he was like, hey, man, quit your job. Don't even go back to Philly. Just quit from here. Stay here and get on stage.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I got to, on a vacation to LA, I got to see Rick Ingraham a couple times, and that dude's funny as fuck, too.
Dude, he called me the other day, and I felt like I won the lottery.
Rick Ingraham?
Yeah, because I haven't talked to him in a couple months. He's the best.
Dude, he's incredible.
Do you ever talk to Brian Holtzman?
Yes, I owe him a phone call, actually. He's one of the sweetest men of all time.
That dude's fucking awesome, too.
Maniac.
He's electric.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say mine? Oh, yeah, Charlie and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
My number 3, and you guys are probably too young for these guys, but look them up. The Fairley brothers.
Chris?
No,
the producers.
they're the Farley brothers. The Fairley brothers are comedy writers and directors.
Okay.
That when they collaborate, they create gold. They did
Stuck on You.
They did Dumb and Dumber. Their first 3 movies out of the gate were Dumb and Dumber, then Kingpin, then There's Something About Mary. And then Peter, just as a solo director, just won an Academy Award for The Green Book. And he also wrote, like, I'm not a reader, but he wrote a book in the late 90s called Comedy Writer. And it was kind of based on his life that literally changed my life and made me want to move to Hollywood.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they did that Stuck on You movie, too, in the early 2000s.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. They did Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh, yeah.
You. But their first 3 movies, bro, Kingpin, go back.
Dude, Kingpin's so good. Oh, yeah, it's so goddamn. I watched the Big Lebowski and Kingpin just a few months ago.
Oh, bowling.
The best bowling movies. Yeah, it's fucking, that's a doubleheader. A bowling doubleheader. What's your number 2, Pepper?
Who gives a fuck? What's your number 2, Thomas?
Stole
all my shit.
Hey, you want me to give you another one? You can talk about them? Randy and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with those.
That's not on my list, but I'm giving that to you.
I mean, you literally, like, those were the 2 that I was excited about, was the Jones Brothers.
All right. Well, I guarantee you neither
Murphy
of you
brothers.
have my number 2.
Hey, Kings of Leon. Who gives a fuck? Sure, them, I guess. Whatever.
All right. Well, I'm going with a band on this one, too.
Oh, okay.
But my number 2.
Son of a bitch. The Van Halens.
My number 2 is a better band than the Kings of Leon and Van Halen. Probably not a better band than Van Halen. That's probably not true. My number 2 is Hanson.
Hilarious.
Is it funny?
Van Halen. But I got nervous because Van Halen was my number 2.
Oh my God.
Taylor Hanson on the drums at 10 years old. That's incredible.
No. Van Halen. Shut the fuck up.
Van Halen.
You're Panama.
Dude, that's the soundtrack of fun. Van Halen saved American rock and roll.
That's still, like, that has carried on for me to whenever something good happens. Like today, when I got a theme song thing, like one of the first things that I was like, Panama.
Oh, it's the greatest.
You nailed it so hard to that, dude.
Dude, it's my favorite because that's just that moment in life where it's just joy. It just works. Panama.
It's like standing up in a Ferrari with a fucking floral shirt on, going down the road, and you're standing up in a convertible Ferrari, just being like,
yep, after you just won the lottery.
Yes. Even Hagar had some bangers. Now.
Dude. Right now. Hey, man, tomorrow.
God rest Edward Van Halen. Dude, his son Wolfie, I don't know if you guys saw the video he made for that song, but bro, it was straight tear gas.
Oh,
that's a talented kid too.
I haven't, but I've seen him play with other stuff, and he's a fucking crazy good musician too. You know, there's a band. Well, this is gonna be way over most people's heads, so never mind. But there's a band called Bring Me the Horizon that is a very, very like hard metal band. It's like all that stuff, and their first American tour was with Van Halen when they were like nobodies in like 2008, 2009. And Van Halen took them on tour because I think Wolfgang, Eddie's son, was like a fan of them. And it was
That's
such a
cool.
weird fucking mismatch to hear like this down, 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 down,
Dude,
all
here's
that
one
shit.
of my life regrets.
Oh,
Neil Brennan is one of the all-time coolest people ever,
yeah,
and a comedy legend.
yeah.
And I don't know how many years ago it was now, but I guess he's buddies with Wolfie, or Wolfie's like a fan of Neil's comedy. Wolfie's a big comedy fan, from what I understand. And Neil invites me to go see Van Halen at the Hollywood Bowl. And he goes, dude, we can get backstage passes. You can meet the band. But I was so poor at the time that I was going to headline Rick Bronson's comedy club in Phoenix. And it was my first time at the Room. And I was like, dude, I have to take this gig because I'm nobody. I can't cancel the gig and I need to pay my rent.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be Van Halen's last concert.
Oh,
wow.
God.
Damn.
But
Damn.
Steve, I want you to know, you said a combination of words that may have just made me extremely happy. We'll see what happens.
For your number one?
No.
I
have some stuff in the works. And
Okay.
we
Oh, I know
have-
what you're saying.
yeah,
I got what you're saying.
This might blow the whole thing.
I thought you were
wide open.
writing Kevin and Neil Brennan
no.
down as your number one.
Oh no, fuck Kevin Brennan. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit. I don't know the guy. Where are we at?
Number one.
You're number one?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No. Who cares?
You want me to read
But,
all
hey,
right.
my number one. Here we go. My number one. You ready?
Yeah.
11 title defenses in the UFC, undefeated.
That's insane.
A Super Bowl.
Oh, he's reading the John Jones stats.
Another Super Bowl.
Okay, well, before you finish that, can I go with another UFC champion that you might have forgot? Valentina and Antonina Shevchenko is an honorable mention.
Okay.
The Diaz brothers.
Oh, yeah.
honorable mention.
Two
I'm
and
gonna
nine.
go ahead and read off all my honorable mentions for my
Stockton.
number one. So I got Shevchenko sisters, Diaz. I don't even know what the fuck that says right there. Oh, D and Dennis from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Sklar brothers. Ben and Fred Savage
Tremendous.
are on my list. I got the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt. JJ Watt, TJ Watt.
Ooh, that's a
Derek
good
Watt.
one.
The Wright brothers made the airplane.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's an obvious one I didn't think of.
Brothers Grimm wrote all the folklore shit. They wrote like all the old fucking nursery
Nobody
rhyme
knows
shit.
what that is. Yeah.
The Marx brothers,
Tremendous.
the Quades. Matt and Becca Hamilton, gold medal winning
All right.
curling
Here's the thing.
superstars.
Here's the thing, Steve. When we were just a wee little podcast and we had, 30 listeners, we got really, really into USA Olympic curling. Okay. And there was a
It's like
fella
2 years ago.
There was a fella named Matt Hamilton that had an incredible mustache. And he did team doubles. It was the first time ever that they allowed team doubles in the world of curling. So you could have a male and a female do curling. Matt and Becca Hamilton were the all-star fucking team. They were brother and sister, and they were going to rock the curling world. Now, they ended up losing pretty early on in the tournament, but that's fine. But I did a song for them that I think the U.S. Olympic team.
They said they played it in their locker room. The U.S. Olympic
the U.S.
team.
Olympic team retweeted it and everything. It was
NBC Olympics. NBC Sports retweeted it and everything.
Matt ended up going on with the USA curling team to win a gold medal, and he agreed. He holds the record for agreeing to come on the podcast. Never has.
Let's make it happen. That's it sounds like a Will Ferrell movie. That's insane.
I think now we have a much better shot than 2 years ago when nobody gave a fuck.
Hey, I don't know if I want to have him on now.
I would love to have him on.
You got your chance.
Yeah, kind of had your chance. Now we're talking to Ari Shafir, Steve Simeone. Come on, dude. Where are we at?
Oh, honorable mention still. Who am I? Do I have any left? Oh, Tia and Tamara Mowry. I don't know if I know them. Sister. Who the fuck? What does that say? It looks like it says
Allman Brothers.
Allman Brothers.
Oh, that's a great one.
The Jackson 5.
Another great one.
All right, but my actual number one, and most people don't even know these people were technically siblings. Two of the most talented, handsome, singing, acting, all around fucking guys you could ever imagine. Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling.
Get out of here.
What?
So they were both on the Mickey Mouse Club when they were like 10 or 11 years old. They both got their start. Ryan Gosling's Canadian. Well, his mom had to go back to Canada for work, and left him here because he was on the fucking TV show or whatever. So Justin Timberlake's parents adopted Ryan Gosling, and he lived. So they are technically adoptive brothers, Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling.
I had no idea.
And yeah, I don't need to spit their fucking resumes at you.
No, you don't.
Two of the most talented people ever.
Dick in a box.
That's it. No, done. La La Land. We're good.
Last time Saturday Night Live crippled me was the Dick in the Box sketch.
Oh, dude.
It was shot perfectly. It was shot perfectly, shot angle for angle, the lighting exactly like a 90s R&B.
Oh yeah.
It was great.
That early Lonely Island shit was so good.
Yeah. They've been dead for so many years. When was the last time you watched Saturday Night Live?
I can't, like, I've tried because I have friends on the show. It's
horrific.
It's tough.
It's like, I don't know what happened. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. The last time I saw a complete episode live was, God rest his soul, when Chris Farley guest hosted like 2 weeks before he died.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Even then, I thought the show was slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a goddamn tearjerker, that Chris Farley song by Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Oh, every time.
Dude. Oh, my God. That's so fucking bad.
Dude, okay, this is what a comedy nerd I am. And like, I legit, like when Chris Farley died, it rocked me like a friend. Like, he was the last celebrity that I like, because you know what it's like when you want to do comedy or you want to do something and somebody's out there doing it and you're like, if I can meet them, I know we'd be friends. He was just so likable and so sweet.
Yeah, that's us, Steve.
And I remember where I was when Farley died, the way my parents talk about John F. Kennedy.
Oh, shit.
I remember who called me. I remember where I was standing. I remember what I was wearing. So when I was living with Fat James, God rest his soul, Fat James knew everything. He was like, he was like, Farley's getting a star on the Walk of Fame. We got to be there. And I'm like, we do have to be there.
Yeah.
And somewhere, I think I have the photo. Fat James took it with those old disposable cameras. But it was one of the sweetest things I've ever seen in my life. Because Chris Rock went up and talked. Spade went up and talked. Sandler, Gary Busey, who was so out of his mind, it was beyond entertaining. But Chris Farley's mom went up and talked. And you see Adam Sandler leave like the VIP section and go stand at the end of the block so he could just sit there like this and look at Chris's mom, enjoy the moment of her son getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And somewhere I have a picture. It's not a great shot, but it's Sandler listening to Farley's mom.
What a fucking guy.
That's a big
one. Yeah, Farley to me was just a force of comedic. He was a force of nature. I don't think there's ever been anybody that funny since.
Oh,
he just moved funny.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I don't think there was anybody before him. I think he
was very original. He's one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, the greatest. When I was in college, we used to hear Farley stories like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like somebody be like, dude, I was in North Carolina. I saw Farley go by on a bike. Or I was in Chicago and Farley dumped a pitcher of water on his head in a fancy restaurant. Like, you would hear these stories. It was larger than life.
Yeah, okay. It was when Corona first hit and we were all just quarantined, not doing shit at home. I showed my girls all the Adam Sandler, like all the good Adam Sandler stuff that's out there. Nice. And dude, Billy Madison, Chris Farley is the fucking bus driver in that movie is so goddamn good.
That Veronica Vaughn, that's one of the funniest scenes of all time.
Yeah. What's number one, Steve?
My number one is also comedy related. And I think these guys are legends in comedy. And I loved them as a kid. And even now, if I catch like an episode, I'm like, I'm watching it.
Gallagher 1 and 2.
You did? No. 3 of the 3 Stooges were actually brothers. Mo Howard and Curly Jerome Babe Howard. Moses and Jerome Howard were brothers. But what a lot of people don't realize is after Curly passed away and Shemp took over for Curly, Shemp was actually their 3rd brother.
Oh, wow.
One of the brothers. So it's Curly, Shemp, and Mo Howard.
You want to talk about something that will never, ever be replicated?
3 Stooges?
Yeah.
Well, they tried the Will
Sasso. I know,
Sasso
Will Sasso and everything. Hey, that was dead from the jump, dude. There is absolutely no way to redo that.
When I was a little nerd kid, my dad every year would take me to the 3 Stooges National Convention because it was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And like you could like, I remember I got like, because I was always like a little comedy nerd. Like I loved everything about it. Like and I got to meet Larry from the Three Stooges' sister, Lila. And I was like this fat little kid in a Hawaiian shirt, and she was just unloading stories on what Larry was like.
Oh.
Awesome. Like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Oh my God.
On the topic of Rushmore siblings, how about fakers like the fucking White Stripes? You know about that story?
No, they're not brother and sister.
No, they got married. So
No,
they claimed to be brother and sisters when they started the band. It was something because there was another sibling duo that was really popular at the time, and they were like they were told to do that or whatever. And then some like paparazzi or some shit like snuck pictures of them getting married, stuck pictures of their outside wedding, and then they had to come out and be like, oh yeah, by the way, we were never siblings, we're not incest, we're just we're actually together. And then they got divorced. Band's no longer together. Not a big White Stripes guy, but what a weird lie.
That is a weird lie.
That's very strange.
That's weird.
I would never fuck my sister.
Dude, are we gonna hang out in real life?
Yeah, I would love to.
Dude, is Mississippi open?
Yeah, we're open
all the way, dude.
We've been open since April.
Yeah, Florida's the same way. Text me and I'll figure out like when we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be cool. It'll be really, really cool.
I would love to, man. Really enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, like legitimately, like, I will. Yeah. No, we'll figure something out. I have time in February and March.
Nice.
Yeah, let's do something. That would be so sick.
Absolutely. I can't thank you guys enough. This was great.
Dude, we cannot thank you enough. Like, this has been one of my favorite episodes ever. I have very intently listened to a lot of your fucking stories, and I mean, there, some guest episodes, I'll be like, all right, well, this is some shit that I don't give a fuck
I was
about.
born in '93, and you took me to '84 with the fucking Hulk Hogan story.
Dude, you're incredible. We really, 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 really do love you.
All right, I love you guys too, and let's hang out. Let's find some place near you guys that's delicious. Like a little local spot that nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like the real deal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's go there and eat something delicious and have some laughs. Cause that's my favorite thing in life.
Yeah.
Like hanging with buddies, having laughs and eating something delicious. Way cooler than.
Yeah. We should go fishing, man.
Alabama's in between us. I'm sure we can find a fucking spot.
We should go fishing, man.
Dude, that's on my bucket list. Yeah. Everybody around me's got a pickup truck and everybody goes fishing. I'm like, I gotta learn how to go fishing.
Oh my God.
Pepper can teach you.
Hey, Steve, 100%. That's what we're doing. We're all getting together. We're going to go to one of those restaurants like you were talking about. Then we're going to go get some bait. We're going to go to a pier and we're all going to stand out there and go fishing. And we're just going to sit there and talk. We're not going to catch shit. I'll tell you right now. Steve Simeone. We're not going to, whatever. But we're going to sit out there. We're going to talk about shit. And we're going to have a great time.
It's going to be the best. I can't wait. Let's make that happen, please.
Dude,
absolutely. That sounds incredible. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you guys. God bless.
Talking to you.
We're out.
This was the best. Take care.
Our God is an awesome God, and we love you.
Love you. You're great as our God. Love you.